everyone! Now we're going to start our consonants in German. The consonants will be covered in this video and the following video. I've tried to include the more simpler sounds and spellings for consonants in this video, and in the next video we'll take a look at some of the more complex ones. Anyways, it's important to remember that German has fairly unique consonant sounds and spellings, which we'll see as we go through. And just as every other language, if I don't cover a certain consonant, it just means that it's spelled the same way in the language as it is in English. So we're just focusing on the interesting ones for a particular language, and we'll start German off with a very interesting one, the V sound. The V sound, which is the V sound. So the sound is V, okay, V. And in German, it's pretty interesting. Like I mentioned, it's going to be spelled with a W. So it's going to be spelled with a W. A lot of German words, have this sound, and all the time they're spelled with a W. It's a very interesting sound and spelling of German. Again, it sets German apart because, really a lot of other languages don't have this. Usually the V is spelled with a V, but in German, it's spelled with a W. And it's going to be 100% of the time, so that's nice. We know we can rely on this rule all the time. And some examples are Weidon, Weidon. Remember the W can be at the beginning, in the middle, towards the end, but it's going to represent the V sound. So Weidon. Another one at the beginning is Wiesent, Wiesent. And these are just two examples, but there's a whole slew of words where the V is represented by the W, and this is really the only way to spell it. So yeah, very, very simple rule, a very interesting rule, that the V in German is going to be spelled with a W. Okay, so that's one to know and get used to. Okay, so that covers V. Our next one is another simple one. It's the Y sound in German, Y, with a Y, Y. And the spelling rule for this in German is also pretty straightforward. It's going to be spelled with a J, and it happens in like Dutch and a lot of other European languages that the J represents the Y sound. So again, like Jungian, I'm thinking of an example, Jungian. There's also Klabberjas, Klabberjas, J for the Y sound. Jonin is another one. Jonin. This comes from the name John, actually, but it's pronounced Jonin. So in German, whenever you hear the Y sound, it's going to be a J, and that's pretty simple, nothing else. So that concludes Y. Okay. I really like it when the rules are as simple as this. Very reliable. Okay, the next one is the Ch sound. Ch. Okay, so it's CH, Ch. And my rule for this is basically whenever this sound is going to follow another vowel, like I or E. So anyways, regardless of that, the spelling is going to be TSCH. And this is one of those consonant clusters I was talking about at the very, very beginning, the first video, is that German has a lot of consonant clusters, a lot of consonants together at once. And the TSCH is a very good example because it happens in words with the Ch sound. Usually it's after, usually it follows the short I sound, follows this sound, it follows the S sound, short E, it follows the OI one, the OI. So usually when it follows a certain vowel sound and you have Ch, it's going to be spelled TSCH. But even if you don't have a vowel sound before it, if you have Ch, most of the time it's going to be TSCH. And that's really the only rule for this. So, examples, kitsch, short word, but spelled like this, kitsch. Again, you have the I before it, and then you have the Ch represented by TSCH. And another one is Volksdeutscher. Volksdeutscher. Deutsche. Remember, we covered in the last video that the OA sound is going to be EU. In German, again, we have that sound, and then we have the ch, TSCH. So Volksdeutscher and Kitsch are two examples of this rule. Again, there are many, many more words that use this rule, and this is the best way to spell this sound. It's the standard way to spell it in German. So if you ever get this sound in a certain word, spell it TSCH, okay? And you'll be fine. Okay, so that covers the ch sound. And now we'll move on to a sound that's very characteristic of German. It's our guttural K. Our guttural K, the K with the line under it, is that sound that comes from your throat, the sound, again. Not a lot of languages have it, but German sure does. It uses it a whole lot, and it spells it only one way. Spells it with a CH. CH, all the time. Again, the sound is from the throat. So when you look at a word and it has this pronunciation, make sure you pronounce it like that. When you're spelling the word, wherever that sound is, it's going to be CH. Pretty simple. Some examples are durchkomponiert. I really like this word. Durchkomponiert. Durchkomponiert. Another one is geistlich. It's towards the end. Geistlich. I hope you can see all the vowel rules that we covered in these example words. For example, the I sound is going to be EI in German. The U with one dot is going to be U. So yeah, be on the lookout for those vowel rules and see if you can spot them in all the examples we're covering. But anyways, regarding this sound, this guttural K sound, it's going to be spelled CH all the time, and that's that. And this sound does happen quite a lot in German, more frequently than other languages, so it's good that we know how to spell it, and there's only one way to spell it, so that's extra good. Okay, so that's the guttural K sound. And just because we covered guttural K, we're just going to cover a normal K, which isn't as simple as the sounds we've been noticing, but it's pretty easy to figure out. This sound is, again, very, very common in German, the K sound. Very common in German. One thing I can tell you right now is German does not like to use the letter C alone for this sound. So if you ever get this sound, the K sound, the normal K, don't spell it with a C if it's from German, just with the C, because German has a lot of other ways to spell it, and they are what Germans like to use. So German does not like the K sound being spelled with just a C. So we're not looking at that at all. So yeah, don't spell the K sound with a C in German. Rather, the first option to spell it is with a K. With a K. And I can tell you that the rest of the sounds we're going to see to represent the sound cannot be at the beginning. So the K is going to represent the K sound at the beginning all the time. So almost always at the beginning. Almost always at the beginning. At the beginning. It could be in the middle. Could be in middle. Could be. It's more often seen in the beginning, and we'll talk about this when we see the other sounds or other letters that represent this sound. Could be in the middle. It could be at the end. Could be at the end. Okay, but K is definitely the number one way to spell it. At the beginning, towards the middle, and the end. It could be, but there are other options. The next option is CK. German always likes to use CK. This is not really going to be in the beginning ever, because I really can't imagine a word starting with CK. So, not at the beginning. Okay, let me write that. Not at beginning. Pretty intuitive, not at beginning. However, it's often in the middle. Often in middle. I'm just going to write it here. Often in the middle. Okay, you're going to see it in the middle of a lot of German words. And it could be at the end. Could be at the end. At the end. Let's take a look at some examples. Again, these two are the primary ways to spell the K sound in German. There are two other options which I'll cover in a bit, but these two are the main ones. Again, K is going to be almost always at the beginning. Let's take a look at example. An example with K at the beginning would be kobold. So let me write it here. Kobold at the beginning. It's never going to be CK at the beginning, like I said. So at the beginning, if you hear this sound, it's going to be K. It could be K in the middle, such as Volkslied. Volkslied. And the way you would know is because it has the root folk, meaning people, which we covered. So if you recognize a root, go ahead and use it. We know it has a K. Another one is Diktat. Diktat. Again, might have a root similar to the English word dictate. So you have the K there, Diktat. So it could be in the middle for K. Could be at the end, like Nachtmusik. Nachtmusik. And again, you have this root at the end that we know, Musik, that has the K, or any word ending in Politik. They would have the K as well. So if you recognize a root, it could be in the middle, it could be at the end. You could use the K if you recognize a root. Otherwise, often in the middle it's going to be a CK, like Greywacke. Greywacke. Remember, the schwa at the end of German words is E, but Greywacke, again, in the middle, not at the beginning, so no words at the beginning with CK. It could be at the end, like Bismarck. And you would know this one because it comes from a name, Otto von Bismarck. So, you know, Germany's chancellor, or was Germany's chancellor. But again, if you recognize the name, you know it's a CK. So basically, roots, names, all that kind of thing will, all those kind of things will help you figure out if it's a K or a CK in the middle. At the end, it could be either. Again, use those roots or those names, or intuition, or what looks right. At the beginning, go with the K, never with the CK, okay? And never ever with just a C, which we've covered. However, these two are not the only ways to spell the K sound. There are two other ways that are very, very rare, and we'll take a look at them. Let me erase this. So remember, K and CK are the most common, best ways to spell the K sound. Another very rare way to spell it is with a G. Rare. This is very rare, but it's a G. It doesn't happen too often, probably less than 10 or probably less than 5 words that use the G for the K sound or K sound in German. An example is Bergschrund. Bergschrund. Let me write it out. Bergschrund. Here the G represents the K sound. A lot of times, if it does represent the K sound, there is an alternate pronunciation of the word that gives away the G. So make sure you ask that, because this is very rare, and if it does happen, it might have an alternate pronunciation that will help you figure out that, yes, it is one of those rare words that uses G. Otherwise, it might not, like Bergschrund, but again, you're not going to run into too many of those, I promise. So, yeah, G is very rare. Another rare one is CH. Again, this is rare. CH. And this is because CH represents that guttural K sound, the H sound, but a lot of people tend to pronounce that as just a K, which isn't really right. But there are a couple of words where the CH can represent the K sound. An example is Wehrmacht. The thing with these words is that even though it's pronounced Wehrmacht, an alternate pronunciation is Wehrmacht with the guttural K, and that would help you figure out it's CH, because the guttural K, which was the sound we saw before this, is always spelled with a CH. So again, that alternate pronunciation is going to help if you ever get the K sound to figure out if it's a G or a CH. Usually the CH is, you know, going to represent the H sound instead of the K sound. So you're not going to run into these two often at all. So if you can eliminate them through the alternate pronunciation, or if you're sure it's not G or CH, you're left with just K and CK, and we've already covered how to figure out if it's a K or CK, so you can use those rules and hopefully be correct for the K sound. Again, the K sound is very, very common in German, so sounds common, so it's good to learn the spelling rules of common sounds because we run into those a lot. Alright, our next sound, which is the final sound for this video, is schwa L, and this is pronounced all. Notice I'm not just doing L, because that's normally just spelled as L, the letter L in German, but the schwa L is a specific sound I wanted to cover because it's spelled one way in German, E-L, so E-L. It could be in the middle, especially at the end, so we can write especially at the end. You're going to see this sound especially at the ends of German words, especially at ends of words, because it's a diminutive, which we talked about when we were doing stems. It makes things smaller or cuter, so we're going to run into the stem a lot, or the sound a lot, and it's going to be spelled E-L, because it's a diminutive. Also, we can see it in the middle, so maybe in the middle, but yeah, EL is very, very common for the O sound, and some examples will show us that this is true. The first one is Pickelhaube, where it's in the middle, Pickelhaube, okay, EL there for the O. One more thing to remember is when we were doing vowels, and I talked about how to figure out which vowel is used to represent the schwa. If you have an L following the schwa, it's part of the ul sound, so most likely it's going to be E, because you see the EL together for the ul sound. So yeah, that's one trick. If you hear the L sound right after the schwa, you can almost be sure it's an E, because the EL is a very popular combination. So Pickelhaube, the EL for the O. Two things wanted to make sure. Hopefully you guys noticed that the AU is for the OW sound, which we covered in the vowels videos, and E for the schwa at the end. Just little reminders of your vowels. Look out for those in the examples. So yeah, this is a really good word anyways. It's a perfect German word. Pickelhaube. Again, we have that CK in the middle, which we just covered for the K sound. Very, very good word. It's got a lot of consonants and vowel rules that we've seen in action. But anyways, the EL for the ul sound. Another example is Kipfel. Kipfel happens at the end here. Anyways, it could happen, everywhere. At the ends, in the middle. So Pickelhaube, Kipfel. Bringsel is another example. Bringsel. This is an I. Let me clear that up. Bringsel. Again at the end. So yeah, EL, very, very common. There are a couple exceptions to this rule in German, very, very few. Deckel is an exception. Deckel. Okay, it has the LE, so you gotta watch out for that. Kringle is an exception. Kringle. The thing with Kringle is that it's definitely been changed since it's been brought to English, because we know that German is not going to use the K, the C to spell the K sound. Pure German would not. So this is a very anglicized word anyways. It used to be spelled K-R-I-N-G-E-L, which is the more German spelling and the correct German spelling, but that's what it was before in Low German. But when it's been brought to English, it's changed. It's been C-R-I-N-G-L-E. So gotta watch out for those because their origins still have German in it. So there are a lot of words like this, like L-E, that stem from German, but they've changed a lot. So yeah, it's best to make a list of words with LE with German for the ul sound, and then once you learn those, you can be absolutely sure that everything else is going to be an EL. Okay, so this covers half of the consonant sounds we're going to cover. In the next video, we'll take a closer look at some complex sounds with more than one spelling, and we'll try to figure out when to use a certain spelling for each sound. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.